Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back for my second tutorial where I'm going to talk to you about text. Hopefully this won't be very, very long. I'm going to talk to you about the text options that you've got in Adobe Illustrator, the text options that you've got in font libraries online. I'm going to show you how to import font from online. I'm going to show you how you can trace that font from online and ungroup it, turn it into a cuttable piece, and also how to etch it so that it looks better when it becomes part of your light. Okay, so first of all, you can see this is the one that I finished. Yeah, so I've got the word balls that will come in. You'll understand that a little bit later on when I finish the next tutorial. Yeah, you can see that I've got this red etch. Yeah, and you can see I've got this black cut. Yeah, you'll know more if you've watched my previous tutorial. You know that the red is the etching and the black is the vectoring or the cutting. Okay, so if I'm just going to go and I've got that etch. I'm going to take that and I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to delete it as well, and I'm going to take that whole thing actually. Can I take that? Delete that? No. Can I take that? Is there anything in there? No. I don't know why that's there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you know that if I go text, yeah, and if I go to properties, and if I go to start on 72, if I click there, I can write the word balls. Okay. The problem with that is that it's really boring. Yeah, I've got Aria black. Yeah, I could use a whole bunch of different ones. I could try that one, try this one, this one, this one, this one. I don't find there's a lot of really good ones there. You might have a different font book. Yeah. I've not bothered clicking on this find more fonts thing, but possibly if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, you'll be able to find more fonts. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go online because I know that it works. Yeah, I know that if I go to Da Font, I'm going to click on this Da Font. Yeah, if I go to Da Font, I come up with this, and there are literally tens of thousands of different fonts there. Yeah, so I'm just going to say I'm going to search for a comic. Yeah, and I write the word that I want. Yeah, balls. Yeah, in lowercase, yeah, not in uppercase, yeah, well, whatever you want, yeah. I'm going to search for 200, and I want them to look large, and I'm going to hit submit. If I do that, you can see that all of a sudden I've got the word balls written a bazillion ways, yeah, all the way through here. And that's using it, that's looking at it as comic. I can look at cartoon, decorative, typewriter. There's literally, there is there's 5 times 200. That's 1,000 just in this one here, yeah. It's crazy. When you're selecting your font, if you're wanting to cut, please make sure that your font is just black and white. Yeah, just black. Sorry. Yeah, make sure it's not black and white. Make sure it doesn't have any. If I go to say decorative or fire and ice or something like that, you'll find that it'll look like this. We do not want that. We do not want any of this, unless of course we're just going to etch it in. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to, was it comic that I was in? Yeah, I'm going to go to comic, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just do a screenshot of this. So Command Control Shift 4 on a Mac allows me to take that. Yeah, it puts it onto the clipboard. I can go into Adobe Illustrator and I can go Command V, and it puts it straight in there. Okay, so this here, it doesn't see this as text. Can you see that it's a pixelated thing? So it sees it as an image. Yeah, that's no good on my laser cutter. So I need to turn it from a bitmap, which is bits of color, yeah, to a vector. Vector, we know, means cut. So I'm going to turn it into a vector image. And I'm going to do that by going to here, image trace, yeah, and I'm going to image trace it by default, yeah, usually works, yeah. And you can see all of a sudden when I zoom in, okay, there's some dodgy bits there, but essentially it's turned into a cut. These will end up being cut lines, yeah. It says here question mark fill, so there's multiple colors in fill, and I know that there's multiple colors because when I look at it, this vector is this thing here, yeah, and this is actually a whole bunch of different bits and pieces, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to properties. I've got that. I'm going to expand it, yeah. So now you can see there's these all these little points here, and there's a word for it, and I'll remember it in a tick. And I'm going to ungroup it, yeah. Can you see how ungroup is still there? Yeah. So I'm going to ungroup it again. And now it says group. Good. So that means it's ungrouped completely. And you'll never know what you've got when you bring stuff in from the internet. You'll never know what you've got until you've actually played with it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, and I know that that's a fill of white and a stroke of nothing. I know that's just the background. Yeah. So I'm going to go like that, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make the fill no fill. And I'm going to make the stroke, what am I going to make it? I'm going to make it black. Okay, and I'm going to make it 0.25. And then I'm okay, yeah? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, oops, I'm going to take that. Can you see how I've actually got the insides? The insides were actually also a thing, yeah? Was also an item, yeah? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and put them so they're all covering each other. They're all sort of overlapping a little bit, yeah? So I'm going to make that overlap a little bit like that. Did you see when I took that, I grabbed it and I moved it across, I can make it go like this or like this. I'm going to make it go like that. I know this looks a bit silly, but like that. I'm going to take the S and bring that to there. They're all overlapping. Yeah, this is a good thing. Yeah, and you'll know why in a tick. Then I'm going to create a square. The square is in the, is it in here? No. Is it in here? Ah, rectangle tool. Cool. Rectangle tool. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle in here that goes like that across to there. Okay. You notice that I haven't sized this. Yeah, I haven't bothered with the sizing or anything like that. I might make it a little bit bigger. I'm just doing this by eye to start off with. Oh, I don't want to do that. See, I had that turned on. I only want it 15 high. So I'm going to make that 15 high. That looks a bit better. Okay, good. Cancel out of that. Okay, go back to select all. Okay, so I've got this. If I go to layers, you can see that I've got that there. If I turn it on and off, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, I turn it on and off. Oh, so what's happening in there? Oh, look, this one here is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that and delete that because I don't want that. So now when I turn that on and off, I've got just that word, yeah, is this thing here. I'm going to copy it, yeah? So I'm going to go and I'm actually going to copy the whole layer. I'm going to drag it down to there, and that's plus, give me another layer. And this is called etch copy. So if I turn this off, you can see I've got my, I've got my etch copy, yeah, so that's in there. I'm going to turn that one off, I'm going to turn that one on, I'm going to play with this, okay? I want this to be vector, yeah, the cut, yeah? I'm actually not going to worry about that layer there. I'm going to take that layer and I'm going to put that in the trash, yeah? So I want this to be my vector, and I want it to cut just around the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to go to Pathfinder, and I'm going to unite. And I'm hoping that if I hit this, ka-ching, whoo-hoo-y, can you see I've now got a cut file all the way around? Beautiful, yeah, I've got a cut file. So I can put a little hole there, send it through. I need to make sure it's the right size. At the moment, it's 80 by 54 millimeters. So let's make sure that we turn that on. Let's say we're going to make it a maximum of, let's say it's 200 wide, yeah? So that's the right size for it to be. And I'm going to move it up to there. And I'm really hoping that when I do that, the other one that I've turned off does the same thing. Does this one do this? Oh, no. Command Z, Z, Z. Because I'm going to do the whole lot. I'll do that later, so forgive me. So if I turn this one off, what I've just been playing with, I've still got, so if I turn this one off that I've been playing with, that's the vector, and that's that copy that we made before, yeah? That's the copy that we made before I did all of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I can see it, yeah, I'm going to take that, I'm going to go Object, Path, I'm going to do an offset path, yeah? So I want to create a line on the inside of this, yeah? So I'm going to go like that, and can you see I've got a line, I've said -1 millimeters, so I wanted to go on the inside, yeah? And it says -1, normally it'll say plus something or other, yeah? It'll say 3 or something like that. And it's supposed to preview, but I normally unclick preview and re-click preview, then it shows me. That's not what I want. I want it to be minus on the inside 1. Unclick and click preview, then I can see it. Hit OK. That looks good. So that's my my inside etch, and it's going to be an etch. Yep. Let's make sure it's called etch. And what color does it need to be? Yes, it needs to be red. And I'm not going to make it a cut. I'm going to make it that's too big. 2 point. Like that. I'm going to make it 2 point like that, yeah? So now what I've got is I've got 2 layers. I've got that layer there, which will just etch, yeah? And then I've got this layer here, which will just vector. So when I send this job through to the printer will first do this. It will etch in that red, and then it will second do the cut, okay? So obviously, I'm going to zoom out now. and I'm going to do all those things that I didn't do before. I'm going to make it 200 wide. I've got the aspect ratio changed correctly. I would put in some holes in it so that I can drill the holes. Yeah. If I'm going to drill some holes, I'd make sure that the holes are, where is that? There. Ellipse tool. Draw a circle. Oh, Shaza. I want the hole to be on my vector. So let's delete that. Let's draw a hole on vector. Let's draw a hole. Again, it's the wrong thing, so I'm going to unclick that. I want the hole to be about 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters, yeah? And I want it to be, I want the stroke to be black, and I want it to be, remember, 0.25, yeah? Cancel. And then hopefully that will make that black. I'm going to take that, Command C, Command V, so I've got 2 of them. I'm going to move that one so that it's sitting at about there. And then I'm going to move the other one so that it's sitting around there. Can you see these aren't talking to each other? They should be talking to each other. There's another thing that I need to talk to you about. I'll talk to you about it in the next thing. But there's a setting that you can use where these will automatically align. Yeah. What I'll do to make it easier for myself is I'll take those 2, and what I'll do is I'll use this align. I want them to align vertically in the centers. And if I go like that, did you see the one on the right just move down a little bit? It means that they're both in the at the same point. And they're 148. I'm going to make it 150 millimeters just because that sounds nice. So they're 150 millimeters apart now. And then that should work quite nicely, and I should be able to drill a hole through there, okay? And then screw that to the baseboard, okay? So that's it. I'm hoping that I showed you top text options in Adobe Illustrator, online font libraries. So I showed you DAF font. I showed you how to import. I showed you how to trace it, ungroup it, and then trace it. I showed you how to turn it into a cuttable piece. I showed you how to etch it, doing an outline trace using the negative number. And then I moved it up into the top left corner, and now it's ready to print. Okay, great. All right, guys, I'm going to stop.